Hi, it's Steve. Today we'd like to show you how to change the inlet water valve on your high efficiency top load washer. It's a really easy job. Let me show you how we do it. Now before we begin this repair, since we will need access to the back of the washer, we'll need to pull it forward. We'll also need to turn off our inlet water supply and remove the inlet fill hoses, as well as unplug the washer. Now we use a rigid wire to hold that top up. Just hook it through that hole in the main top, and I've hooked it around the suspension rod on the front. Keeps it in an upright position. Now next we'll take a pair of pliers. We'll release the clamps that secure those hoses to the valve. And take note of the location of each of the hoses. There will be a little bit of water that will come out of these, so you may want to have something there to clean that up. Now, once we've removed all of those hoses, we can then lay that top back down again. We don't need to latch that top back in, we'll just lay it flat. Now next we'll need to lift that main console and tilt it forward. There are 2 or 3 screws across the back that we'll need to loosen to do that. So we'll just loosen these 1/4" hex head screws, or you can use a Phillips screwdriver as well. They don't have to be pulled completely out. As long as they are detached from the main top, we can lift that console. Now with the screws loosened, what we need to do now is tilt that console forward and just lay it on the main top. And now we'll need to remove not only the valve, but we're going to replace the wire harness that comes with it. Now our first step in removing that wire harness will be to disconnect this little 2-wire sensor harness that attaches to the left side of that control board. So we're just going to push down on that locking tab, slide the connector out, and it may be routed through this little wire tie, and if so, you can just cut that and replace it with another one. Remove the wire from behind any little clips that hold it in place. The next we'll remove the tube on the end of the board. Same thing, there is a little locking tab, just depress it. Slide the connector off. Now we can grab that harness at the back, and there are some little plugs that snap down into that main top. Just pull those all out. And we'll also disconnect the sensor harness right on the valve. Lift that up out of the way, and we can remove this one connector. And also the white one on the left side. Just lift up on the locking tabs and pull it out of the way. Now with those pulled back, we can then lift our power cord, remove the block from that back. Again, there's another one of these little plugs there. We'll lift that away. Now our next step will be to remove these 2 screws that secure that valve to that tray. Retain the screws, we will need them to install the new one. And you note that there are 2 different lengths. take that valve and harness assembly and just lift it right out of the washer, and we can discard it. Now our next step will be to mount that new valve onto that tray. So line up the outlet tubes from the solenoids with the openings in the bottom, as well as making sure that that channel on the inlet fits into those proper slots. Now that we have the valve mounted securely to that tray, we'll slide the line cord back into position, insert that plug into that hole right there, line up the block on our channel at the back. Now next we'll reinstall our new harness. We'll start by locating that small connector for the thermistor. Press that firmly into the valve, make sure the locking tab engages. You can use your old valve to help locate the connection points. Our purple one will attach directly in that valve portion. The white one will go right beside it. Make sure to press firmly onto the valve. The red one will be located right here. Purple right next to it. White one on the end, and the yellow one in the center. Just tuck the harness in the other way, make sure we don't have any strain on it. Well, next we'll reconnect these two connectors to the side of the board. Install the large one closest to the front. Make sure it's pressed firmly onto the board, and the little locking tab clips up behind it. Do the same with the smaller one right next to it. Again, make sure that it's pressed firmly into place. Then we'll route that 2-wire harness from the thermistor through the little clips at the back of the board. Make sure we engage in all of those little tabs. Press the connector firmly onto the board and make sure the locking tab's engaged. Now, if you weren't able to save the old zip tie, we'll have to install a new one. Make sure we get both the air dome tube and all the harnesses inside of that zip tie. And just snug enough to hold them in place. Clip off the excess, and now we can tilt that control panel back into position. These hooks across the front of it will come in behind and hook into those little sockets on the back of that tray. And then just tighten up the mounting screws at the back. Make sure we do both sides and they're secure. And then we can lift up the main top to reconnect the hoses. So just lift up the main top again. We'll reattach our support. that's secure. And then we can reattach the hoses. I'll start with the ones in the middle. These are the ones that will have the different colored clamps on them. So push those into position. Make sure they're firmly inserted. And then rotate the clamps down into position. Next we'll do the two outside ones. And again, we'll just rotate those clamps down into position. Sure they're secure. And we can release our support. And then lower the main top. Once we have it down into position, make sure it's even side to side, and then just press it down until the spring clips engage. And then remove our duct tape. And now we're ready to push the washer back into position, and we can reconnect our supplies. We're now ready to reconnect our water hoses, plug the washer back in, and our repair is complete.